Welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa. Get your education booklet in our daily newspaper, street sales, or at your school every Monday to Thursday for pre-primary up until grade 3. The lessons are for listening or watching online. Inside the newspapers, there is an insert of the lesson booklet. Please cut the top of the lesson booklet with a pair of scissors and fold it for ready to use. But there is more. We are also available on our online platforms, MyZone and Zoshi Facebook pages, and in addition, our website, Zoshi Online. Hello everyone and welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa and thank you so much for joining me today. Our theme this week is being safe and road safety. And before we get into any lessons, grade 2s, we know that we need to sanitize. So let's take our sanitizer and we rub inside our hands, around our hands, in between our fingers, on our wrists, and our fingertips too. Make sure your hands are dry before you touch anything else. For today's lesson, we will be talking about number patterns, regular verbs, and computation. For our lesson, boys and girls, let us all start on page 6. On page 6, we are going to be doing number patterns. It is going to be our job to complete the number patterns and then say what we did. So, they've given us an example where there is 7, 9, 11, and 13. Now, for us to get the answer, the person at the bottom said, I added 2 every time to get the next answer. Now, it's our job to do the rest. We're going to do A and B together. So, let us take a look at the board. Now, the first one we're going to do, we first need to find out what pattern there is. So, we need to count, and we're going to use our fingers to count. So we need to get from 15 to 16, and we need to count out loud. 15 is already there, then 16. So if we are saying that it takes us 1, then we need to say 16 is already there and 17. So the next number is 17. Then 17 is already there, 18. So the next number is 18. Then we say 18 is already there, 19. So we can now safely say that I added 1 to get my next answer. The sentence we're going to write here is the one that's going to explain what we did. And we're going to say I added 1. Let's start there. Capital letter I, then the word added. You can go ahead and do this part with me as well. Added. Make sure that all your letters are the same size. And you can say 1 in numbers or 1 in words. I'm going to say 1 in numbers. I added 1. Then I'll say every time to get the next answer. So I'll say every, then every time seems to be one word. So we're going to make it every time. Every, and then a space, time. So I'm going to stop mine here, but you can go ahead to say every time to get the next answer, just like in the example. So I've said, I added 1 every time, which is true. From 15, if you add 1 to 15, you get 16. Then, if you add 1, you will get 17 and the rest. Now let's do B together. B is saying it's starting at 50 and it looks like it's counting backwards because there's a smaller number next to 50, not a bigger one. So we need to count backwards. We need to get from 50 to 48. Again, we can use our fingers. So we can say 50 is already there. Then we say 49, 48. So 2 counts between the numbers. We are going to go to the next number by counting 2. 48 is already there, and remember we are counting backwards, so we say 47, 46. So our next answer is 46. Now remember, we're still counting 2. We have written 46, so we say 46 is already there, and we are counting backwards. 45, 44. So we have our next answer, 44. Now, if we continue the way we are counting, we're supposed to get 42. So let's see if we do get 42. We say 44 is already there. And remember, we are counting backwards. So we say 44 is already there. 43, 42. So yes, our answer is correct. So now that we have filled up our number pattern, we need to say how we got the next number. Instead of saying adding, because we were counting backwards, we were subtracting. So you can say, I took away 2 every time. We'll start with the capital letter I, and then you can say took away or subtracted or minused. They are all the same process. So I'm going to say I took away 2. Don't forget, all your letters must be the same size and the spacing in between. I took away. There we go. How many did we take away? 2 every time. So I'm going to write my number 2 and then I'll write every time. You can go ahead and finish your sentence by saying every time to get the next answer. I'm going to stop at every time with a full stop. So go ahead, boys and girls, and complete the exercises by yourself. Remember to make your sentence to explain what you were doing, and then take your time when you're doing your number pattern. Use the numbers that are already there to help you find the pattern and then complete it. I'll see you when you're done after the advert break.
Follow us on MyZone Facebook Active Kids to watch your daily lesson and other fun activities with Zoe and Zoshi.
For our lesson now, boys and girls, let's all turn to page 7. On page 7, we are going to be doing verbs. Now, it's going to be our job to fill in the verb in its correct form. We're going to discuss which of the forms the verb is going to use for certain words. So let's take a look at the board. So today we're going to be doing verbs, but in order for us to do the verbs, we need the pronouns to help us. So we know that if it is a singular verb, then we are dealing with the pronouns I, you, we, and they. That means that we're going to write the verb the way it is. For example, I help. We help. Now for the other pronouns, he, she, and it, we are going to say they are plural verbs. In this case, we need to add a S to the end of the verbs. For example, she helps. He helps. So you can see that we have added our S. If we say she help, it does not make sense. So go ahead and remember that for the singular verb, it is I, you, we, and they. Then for the plural verb, we have he, she, and it. Now, let's try and do some of the exercise together and see which form of the verb we are going to write. Number 1 says, he dash very hard for his examination. He dash very hard for his examination. Now remember, we use a plural verb for the words he, she, and it. So that means our verb in brackets, work, will have an S added to it when we write it on the space. Then it will now say, he works very hard for his examination. Number 2 says, you dash very little. It's not good for you. You dash very little. It's not good for you. Our verb is the word eat. Remember, we said that for words like I, you, we, and they, we do not add anything to the verb. So, we can put the word eat in its normal form. Now our sentence will say, you eat very little. It's not good for you. So, take your time for the first part and make sure that you use the correct verb form for each of them. Don't forget the tips that we have just discussed. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is asking you to circle the correct word. Now, you can use the same rules for this one. So take your time, read the sentence carefully. And when you are done reading it at least twice, circle your correct answer. Have fun, and I will see you when you're done after the advert break.
Do you have children in the age range of 5 to 6 years and want to participate in our school booklet program? Please contact us on 081 74 3759 and we will put you on our distribution list for the attention of pre-primary schools. Topics include family, summer, culture, traditions and houses, transport and communications, occupations, autumn, and more. We distribute countrywide in over 10 different languages.
For our lesson now, boys and girls, let's all turn to page 8. On page 8, we are going to be doing computation by adding decade numbers. Now, we already know our decade numbers. They're the ones that end with 0, from 10 all the way to 100. Now, it's our job to add them. Remember, only your tens will change, nothing else. So, let's do A and F together. Now, the first thing we're going to do is to we are going to label our place values. In this case, the first number that we see for each of them is the unit. This way, we will not get confused when it's time to add. Then the second number will be our tens. Now remember, only the tens will change. So let's start by actually adding the tens first. We say 2 plus 3. So we know, boys and girls, that 2 plus 3 will give us 5. And then after that, we still need to add our units, although they won't change because 4 plus 0 will only give us 4. So nothing has changed. So our answer, boys and girls, is 54. Now we've said 24 plus 30 will give us 54. Let's now try F. The first thing that we're going to do, boys and girls, is to label our place values. So we start with our units, and then we go ahead and do our tens. Remember, it's the tens that we are going to start with first, because only the tens will change. So let's start by saying 7 plus 1. If we have 7 and we add 1 more, it will give us 8. Then even though the units don't change, we still need to add them together. So we say 3 plus 0. If I have 3 things and then I add 0, I will still have 3. So that means it did not change. Our answer is 83. This now makes our sum say 73 plus 10 will give us 83. So go ahead and do this exercise by yourself. Remember our golden rule that only the tens will change. Make sure that you label each number for the units and for the tens, and then start with the tens so that you can see that it's the only one that has changed. Take your time and make sure that you are doing it by yourself. I'll see you when you're done after the advert break.
Follow us on MyZone Facebook Active Kids to watch your daily lesson and other fun activities with Zoe and Zoshi.
Grade 2s, we have now come to the end of our lesson, and I hope you had fun. I know I did. Remember, if you're not sure what to do, that's okay. You can ask an adult for help, but you need to finish your work by yourself. So now that we've done grade 2s, it's time to sanitize. Remember, when we sanitize, we are trying to show the world how responsible we are. So, sanitize as regularly as possible. Make sure your hands are dry before you touch anything else. I wonder though, I have not seen Zoshi the whole day. He said he was going to go and get us masks. Zoshi, are you back? Oh, there he is. Hello, Zoshi. So, from Zoshi and I, we would like to say thank you for joining us today and goodbye!
Our online school will help you along the way. Find us at www.zoshi.online and download the booklet. Follow us on Facebook to never miss a video. Subscribe to our Zoshi Telegram channel if you want to receive daily updates. Proudly sponsored by the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture, Namibian Community Trust, UNICEF, My Zone Online School, Amos Meerkat Syllabus, and Capricorn Foundation.